welcome the bridesmaids and sort of just sort of indicate how incredible they were looking. Jack gave me some words of wisdom last night, but he thought there would be a few peacocks here tonight. But I definitely think the bridesmaids have fluffed their feathers the best. To the bridesmaids. Now, obviously, I get to hear a few words about Bernard, and from just to give some background, obviously, I've known Bernard from the school days, been quite a long time. So there's quite a range of stories involving lots of different people. So I hope to give you a little bit of a quick skim through. A few of the diesel jokes have obviously kind of been used already, so I might slip on it at the end, but we'll see. But I actually feel quite honoured, because I don't think there are many best men that get to kind of chat about a Guinness Book Records holder. I can't sort of elaborate too much, it might take too long, but I mean, sort of, there's typically of Bernard, he starts delivering a pizza 1K in a roundabout, and that turns out to 11,042 Ks from Cape Town to Sydney. So, the things that seem to happen together are often sort of like weird and wonderful, but always work out well in the end. And I think Judy is hopefully sort of experienced. She's starting to experience those things too. Now, sort of Siska's quite proud to kind of touch on the fact that she introduced or set up the happy couple. And words like eventually or it's about time are often used at weddings like this. But I'd like to sort of say that Beef and Judy it was just one of those things. It was a matter of time. They were always going to get together and or get married. And the way it started was something like, Siska giving Beef a call and saying, "Bob, I found it." Pretty simple, straight, and a few phone calls. Obviously, as we heard earlier, Ricky's wedding was the start of it all. So my question actually is to Siska, what took you so long? Anyway, so now you hear, okay, your mate is interested in a girl in Joburg, and you start to wonder, long distance relationships, that could be a problem. I think the only consolation was it was in Australia. You guys are all aware of the stories. I don't know what you're talking about. Big has had a few visa issues. Australian sort of immigration authorities have been on his case a little bit. But I think, Joburg, no visas. He was also just grateful that he didn't have to hear those consoling words of Garrick again. I said, "Thomas with Jack Cuck." Anyway, dude, just make sure, double check travel arrangements. You never know. Resorts could be washed away. Speaking of sort of admin issues, Beef and obviously I've become aware a little bit more now, Judy, they love a bit of admin. Beef, I think, coined the phrase sort of keys, laptop, wallet. He's been known to sort of leave a few wallets in various places around the world. Cliffs of Moher Island, friends' passports in Spain. And even most of you have probably picked up something in your house the next day going, "Who does this belong to?" But fortunately, he's got lots of us looking out for him these days. We sort of make our own little Bernard Keys laptop.
It's actually very true.
Anyway, I think you stick some of the stuff in your handbag. Anyway, then Beef also, he considers himself a little bit romantic, I think. Whether it's, I hope he's sort of sort of getting you into the vibe there, Jude, to sort of entertain you. And I hope once now you're married, you're not sort of, that's not the end of it. Yeah. But he likes a bit of mood lighting. You sort of got what you wanted for you. There were quite a number of candles leading us into the cellar this afternoon. Then obviously a bit of music to kind of set the scene, and a romantic dinner. Jeez. Check your insurance policies. There's been a few flames that have been in the dinner. He's been known to kind of, well, how do we put up wood? Water! So, yeah, no, look, I think make sure that everything's up to date. Anyway, so a little bit more serious now. Bernard, he's obviously quite driven, ambitious, and there's been a few jokes between our families about when that will develop, and I think it does. It comes down to science class. And the Jordans used to sort of get a hard time by, I think it was Mr. Roberts. Boy, he's talking too much. Nick and Bernard, the chat, they don't get down to business. But I think, if I think back on it now, how many of the things that we do today, golf tours, big runs, comrades, whatever, 2 oceans, all those things were the things that were discussed in that class. Our careers. We never discussed marriage though. I don't even sex yet, but I don't know about marriage. And then obviously Beef, after school he stooged and he came back and studied, went back to London. And again, I think his drive to meet people, travel, sort of just get those life experiences that help you develop. Then he came back and he sort of thought, she's earn your breakfast. That's a great idea. I don't know how many of you know, but earn your breakfast was basically just about 5. Let's see how many times in a day we can say the word vibe and we'll have breakfast at the end. A hiking club or was it a dating club? Activity in the morning, head for breakfast, and but people in only one day, one of the grooms managed to drive things forward too. It's sort of just a pity it didn't end up paying the bills because they were onto something. And I think they realised it couldn't have just sort of, and they were all married or dating, it just came to an end. Sorry, Simon. I'm still trying. Anyway, so now obviously Steve trying to sort of work out a way how to pay those bills and sort of building up himself in his own business. You obviously all sitting in the cellar wouldn't have heard the Reverend ask him, what is your occupation? He was physio. He's still exploring the sort of possibilities, but and I think he would have probably achieved success a lot earlier had that sort of home lava lamp come to fruition. But unfortunately, due to sort of safety concerns, that sort of didn't get off the ground. The first prototype sort of exploded all over the lounge and a poor Jack Russell that was broken after that. But I think, I've obviously you have lots of chats with your mates about their directions, and I think that his ability to interact is one to kind of improve and drive both himself and Judy forwards. I think he'll succeed. So I wish you the best. My last little bit is probably the part I know very little about, thank God. And Judy, maybe you know a lot more. I don't know whether there's anybody here that knows a little more. But Beef the Lover. Yeah, except to be quiet. Judy was talking about the story and the kind of them writing their own little their chapters. And I think you guys are obviously going to start your own chapter now, and we look forward to sort of experiencing that with you. we hope that there's a little Jordan family sort of cruising around on wedding dance floors like we've seen here. So Jude, fill up with that diesel.